Yep. Thanks. So I'm Carlos Greshenson. I'm a research professor at the National University in Mexico, and we were in Group 4. So we had we mentioned several lessons from previous efforts like cybernetics. We could learn from their successes and failures. Also, there have been other transdisciplinary approaches to other scientific disciplines. And also in bioinformatics, projects like the Human Genome Project, the Connectome, and the Brain projects have been useful in the sense that they gather people from different disciplines and they have to work on a specific problem, and they have its successes and failures, so we can learn from that. For the second question, there are lots of tools that we can develop, programs across departments, but we were also discussing that it's useful to have generalists, but we also need the specialists, so it might be too difficult to have like interdepartmental projects at every university, and it might be more useful to have the possibility to link people with specialized knowledge in order to be able to speak with people from different disciplines. And for this, we can have more events like this one, and also broader curricula, massive online courses, and also it was mentioned that to attract interest of young people, we need something like a blockbuster that would kind of put the questions we're addressing on the map of the general public. Also competitions like iGEM are useful to attract interest. We also mentioned some of the textbooks that were already discussed. There's, I think, a nice introduction by James Gleick, Information History, a Theory of Flood, Information Theory in Molecular Biology, Belek's book, Adami's book, Mathematics of Phylogeny and Evolution, and Urialon's book, and of course there are others which could be recommended. Some are more specific, some are more general, and of course they could be improved with a more general perspective. We're discussing that the problem is not so much to define life in terms of information, because this has been done, but I mean, just like there are many other definitions of life, when would this be useful? And one thing that we address is that we cannot study life without information, in the sense that you cannot distinguish between a living system and a non-living system composed by the same elements, but just rearranged differently, if it's not with organization. And also, information, it has been said that it could be a common language across different disciplines, and not only in biology, but also for other disciplines. So the advances that are achieved in the relationship between information and biology, in principle, could also be applied to sociology and economics and other disciplines, physics as well, in general, to the study of complex systems. For the fifth question, information theory is a convenient perspective to life, but let's say we could take a pragmatic approach and just say, well, it's not that that's the only way, just it's convenient to use information to study living systems. And then, of course, the question is, when is it useful to describe living systems, and what gives us information that other approaches doesn't give you? What questions can we address that we are unable to do if we don't have these tools? A milestone that could be set, or several milestones, is to start describing full information flows in model organisms at the genetic level, at the neuronal level, at the social level, to analyze all these information flows. And if this allows us to understand and study these organisms in a complementary way as it's been traditionally done, then this would be a proof of the usefulness of applying information theory to biology. Other examples where this could be useful would be to have theoretical predictions for different open questions in biology. If we can have a theoretical prediction for a minimal cell or for a protocell, or for other problems like exobiology or in morphogenesis, if we can make predictions that could guide experimental programs, then that could also be interesting milestones. And finally, we also agree that we need results. If we have results, success, and tools to offer to the community, then more people will be attracted. If not, then it will be more difficult, even if we have blockbusters with sequels and Arnold Schwarzenegger playing them. And of course, what has been said, networking and also funding is useful. If there are calls for projects with this approach, then more people will be interested than if there is no funding and then there's some other approach which has these opportunities, then of course it's an incentive. I don't know if anyone would like to add something from the group. No? Okay. Thank you.